In the history of crime, many major robberies have been inspired by famous movies. From thrilling scenarios, robbers have recreated the heists on the screen in real life, combining daring, sophistication, and dramatic elements. Below are famous robberies that are said to have been influenced by cinema. The Antwerp Diamond Heist, 2003. The $100 million Perfect Heist. In February 2003, the Antwerp Diamond Center in Belgium, considered the world's largest diamond trading center, became the scene of one of the most daring and sophisticated robberies in history. A group of criminals led by Leonardo Notarbartolo stole diamonds, gold, and jewelry worth more than $100 million. This heist was called the Perfect Heist because of its meticulous preparation and ability to overcome all modern security systems. The Antwerp Diamond Center was a heavily guarded building with a host of advanced security technologies. The safe containing the diamonds was located in an underground room, protected by multiple layers of security, including motion sensors, heat detectors, 24/7 surveillance cameras, and complex combination locks. But for this group of criminals, all of these layers of protection were just a challenge. Leonardo Notarbartolo, the ringleader of the robbery, posed as a diamond trader for 2 years to create the perfect cover. He rented an office in the center to gain access and study the security system. After months of preparation, he and his team, consisting of 5 experts in fields such as lockpicking, sensor disabling, and surveillance technology, devised a meticulous plan to carry out the heist. On the night of February 15, 2003, the criminals broke into the center. They disabled the security systems using specialized equipment, including a clamp to make motion sensors think the room was completely quiet. They also jammed security cameras and unlocked safes with special tools. In just one night, they opened 123 safes and made off with a huge amount of property, then left the scene without leaving any significant traces. The robbery was discovered the next morning when the center's employees returned to work. Belgian police immediately opened an investigation and quickly identified Leonardo Notarbartolo as the main suspect. After several weeks of searching, he was arrested. However, Notarbartolo refused to reveal the identities of his accomplices and insisted that he was only a small link in the plan. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but the assets worth more than $100 million have never been found. The Antwerp diamond heist was shocking, not only because of the huge value of the stolen assets, but also because of the sophisticated way in which it was carried out. This was a wake-up call for the global diamond industry about the loopholes in the security system, forcing them to increase security at their storage centers. For criminals, this robbery became a symbol of audacity and superior planning. The story of the robbery has become the inspiration for many films and books, depicting the recklessness and intelligence of the perpetrators. Although Leonardo Notarbartolo was arrested and sentenced to prison, the Antwerp diamond heist remains a great mystery, as most of the assets have not been found. With the sophisticated method and the spectacular disappearance of the robbers, this case will forever be one of the most daring and unforgettable heists in the history of crime. Hatton Garden Robbery, 2015. The daring heist of the Pensioners Gang. On Easter 2015, the financial centre of London witnessed one of the most daring bank robberies in British history at the Hatton Garden Safe Deposit. A group of elderly criminals, known as the Pensioners Gang, carried out a sophisticated heist, stealing more than £200 million, including cash, gold, diamonds, and other valuable items. This was not only a large-scale robbery, but also shocking because of the professional execution and the special characters involved. Hatton Garden Safe Deposit, a place to store assets for wealthy businessmen and individuals, is strictly protected with a modern security system. However, this did not stop the group of robbers, including 6 people, aged from 50 to over 70, led by Brian Reeder, 76 years old. Brian, nicknamed the Godfather, is a veteran criminal with extensive experience in carrying out major heists. The gang spent months observing, studying the security system, and planning the robbery in detail. On the night of April 2, 2015, the gang began their actions. They sneaked into the basement of Hatton Garden and used industrial drilling equipment to break through the 50-centimeter thick concrete wall, creating an entrance to the safe area. The gang opened more than 70 safes, taking a large amount of assets without leaving significant traces. Notably, the gang returned to the scene on the second night to complete the robbery. This shows the calmness and confidence of the veterans in the criminal world. The robbery was only discovered on April 7th when the bank reopened after the holiday. When checking, the staff discovered that the safe had been broken into and a series of assets had disappeared. The British police immediately took action, launching a large-scale investigation. Security camera footage captured part of the robbers' actions and the old, illegal truck they used. This was an important clue, leading to the identities of the members. Brian Reeder and his accomplices, including Terry Perkins, Daniel Jones, John Collins, and several others, were quickly arrested. During the trial, they were sentenced to many years in prison. However, the case still left a big mystery. Most of the assets worth more than £200 million were never recovered. Many people suspected that this amount of assets had been consumed or hidden by undiscovered accomplices. The Hatton Garden robbery was not only a major financial crime, but also highlighted the sophistication and meticulous organization of the criminal world. The image of older robbers with their experience and ingenuity became a topic of special interest to the media and the public. The incident also exposed the security flaws in large asset storage centers. The story of the robbery quickly became the inspiration for many films and documentaries, highlighting the uniqueness of the pension gang. Even after many years, the heist is still remembered as one of the most daring and bizarre robberies in British history. With much of the stolen property never recovered and many mysteries still unsolved, the Hatton Garden robbery remains a symbol of criminal daring. Banco Itaú robbery, Brazil, 2011. Sophisticated and mysterious heist. In 2011, in São Paulo, Brazil, one of the most daring bank robberies in history occurred at a Banco Itaú branch. The criminal group stole about 65 million reals, equivalent to 30 million US dollars, through a carefully prepared plan, including digging a tunnel more than 150 meters long leading straight to the safe. This robbery was shocking not only because of its scale, but also because of the sophistication in the way it was carried out, leaving many unsolved mysteries. The robbery group, consisting of about 12 to 16 members, rented a house near the bank, turning it into a center of operations. From this house, they dug a long tunnel, professionally designed and built. The tunnel not only led exactly to the bank's safe deposit box, but was also equipped with lighting, ventilation, and wooden reinforcements to ensure safety during the entire operation. This showed the sophistication and tight organization of the criminal group. They chose the weekend, when the bank was closed, to carry out the robbery without being detected. The robbers disabled the alarm system and opened the safe with specialized equipment, taking a large amount of cash without leaving significant traces. The incident was discovered on Monday morning, when bank employees returned to work, causing a stir in the entire city of São Paulo. Brazilian police immediately launched a large-scale investigation. From traces at the scene, including the tunnel and a nearby rented house, they identified several important clues. A few suspects were arrested, but most of the robbers disappeared without a trace. It is worth noting that more than 90% of the stolen money has not been recovered, raising many questions about the criminal group quickly laundering the money and fleeing abroad. The Banco Itaú robbery exposed serious loopholes in the banking security system. After the incident, banks in Brazil were forced to upgrade their security measures and increase monitoring to prevent similar cases. The case also attracted international media attention due to the sophisticated way of carrying out the case and the unsolved mysteries about the fate of the criminal group as well as the missing money. With careful preparation and an action movie-like execution, the Banco Itaú robbery in 2011 became one of the most shocking cases in Brazilian crime history. Although more than a decade has passed, the mystery of the robbery group and the huge amount of assets has not been solved. This is not only a large-scale robbery, but also a stark reminder of the importance of ensuring security in financial institutions. Erie, Pennsylvania bank robbery, 2003. Strange and tragic. On August 28, 2003, the city of Erie, Pennsylvania, witnessed one of the strangest and most tragic bank robberies in American history. Brian Wells, a 46-year-old pizza delivery man, walked into a PNC bank branch with an explosive device strapped around his neck, demanding cash from the employees. The incident quickly became a national sensation, not only because of the way it was carried out, but also because of its tragic ending. That morning, Brian Wells received an order to deliver pizzas to a remote location. There, he was forced by a group of criminals to wear an explosive device around his neck and participate in the robbery. Wells was given a complex set of instructions, requiring him to perform a series of consecutive tasks in order to defuse the bomb. The first instruction was to rob the bank and take $250,000. Wells entered the bank with an explosive device around his neck and handed the bank teller a note demanding money. In the face of danger, the bank teller was only able to hand over $8,702. Wells left the bank, but was stopped by police shortly afterwards. He repeatedly claimed that he had been forced and begged the police to call the bomb squad. However, as the officers were trying to control the situation, the bomb suddenly exploded. Wells died on the spot, to the horror of onlookers. The investigation that followed many years later revealed a shocking truth. Brian Wells was not only a victim but was also said to have known about part of the plan in advance. The robbery was organized by Marjorie Deal Armstrong, a woman with a history of mental disorders, and a group of accomplices. They placed a bomb around Wells' neck and forced him to carry out the robbery with the promise that they would defuse the bomb if he followed instructions. However, the device was designed to be impossible to remove, making Wells the true victim. Marjorie Deal Armstrong and her co-defendants were arrested and brought to trial. Marjorie was sentenced to life in prison in 2010, but many details of the case remain a mystery. Wells's true role, whether he was a victim or part of the plan, is still debated. The Erie robbery, also known as the Pizza Bomber, became one of the most famous criminal cases in American history. The story was retold in the Netflix documentary Evil Genius, which sheds new light on the complex details and the ruthless motives of those involved. The case is a harrowing reminder of the cost of greed and ruthlessness, leaving an indelible mark on the history of crime. Los Angeles bank robbery, 1997. The terrifying confrontation. On February 28, 1997, in the North Hollywood area of Los Angeles, one of the most daring bank robberies in American history occurred at a Bank of America branch. The two robbers, Larry Eugene Phillips Jr. and Emil Matasareanu, turned the incident into a gunfight that lasted more than 44 minutes with the police force. This was one of the fiercest confrontations ever recorded in the United States. Phillips and Matasareanu had prepared carefully before the robbery. They carried AK-47 automatic rifles, handguns, hundreds of rounds of ammunition, and wore full body armor. That morning, they entered the bank, overpowered employees and customers, and demanded cash. However, the plan was quickly disrupted when a bank employee activated the emergency alarm system. Within minutes, police were on the scene, surrounding the bank. Instead of surrendering, Phillips and Matasareanu decided to confront them head-on. They used heavy firepower to fight back, firing volleys of bullets at the police force. With their bulletproof vests, they were virtually immune to standard police weapons. The officers were forced to borrow rifles from nearby stores to deal with them. The gunfight lasted more than 44 minutes, with more than 1,300 bullets fired. Phillips, seriously wounded and with no way out, committed suicide at the scene. Matasareanu was shot and died of blood loss shortly thereafter. Although 12 police officers and 8 civilians were injured, no civilians were killed, thanks to the bravery and professionalism of the police force. The North Hollywood robbery was not only shocking because of its level of violence, but also exposed the limitations of American police equipment. This was a major wake-up call for security forces. After the incident, police across the United States upgraded their equipment, added more powerful rifles, and improved their tactics in dealing with organized crime. The 1997 North Hollywood robbery became a major lesson in public safety history and one of the prime examples of the dangers of organized crime. Even though time has passed, the incident is still mentioned as one of the fiercest confrontations in modern criminal history. Securitas Post Office Robbery, UK, 2006. The biggest daring heist in history. On 21 February 2006, One of the biggest robberies in British history took place at the Securitas Post Office in Tonbridge, Kent. The group used sophisticated and ruthless methods to steal more than £53 million. This heist not only shocked the public, but also became one of the most daring crime stories ever recorded. The group of 6 robbers, led by Lee Murray, had planned carefully for months. They closely monitored the schedule of Colin Dixon, the branch manager of the Securitas Post Office, and knew the operations of the facility. On the evening of 21st February, they carried out their daring plan by disguising themselves as police officers to stop Dixon's car as he was driving home. Dixon was forced into another car while another gang held his wife and 8-year-old son at home. Dixon was taken to the Securitas branch and told that his family would be in danger if he did not cooperate. He was forced to open the safe, where the huge sum of cash was stored. The gang quickly made off with more than £53 million, leaving the bank staff tied up in a room. The entire operation took place over a few hours, and no shots were fired, but the ruthlessness and careful planning of the gang made it particularly serious. A large-scale investigation was launched by the British police soon after, becoming one of the largest in the country's history. A van used to transport the money was left abandoned near the scene, providing important clues. Based on the evidence collected, the police quickly identified Lee Murray and the members of the robbery gang. Several suspects were arrested in the UK, while Murray fled to Morocco and was arrested there. Although many of the group were convicted, some £32 million was never recovered, leaving the robbery a mystery. Lee Murray was sentenced to life in prison in Morocco, while his accomplices received harsh sentences in the UK. The Securitas robbery not only exposed the flaws in security systems, but also became a great lesson for financial institutions. With the huge value of stolen assets and the sophisticated way in which it was carried out, this robbery is still remembered as one of the most daring heists in modern criminal history. Major heists inspired by movies not only reflect the appeal of cinema, but also demonstrate the ability to apply movie scripts to real life in a daring way. However, not all plans are perfect, and most of these robberies end in failure or serious consequences. If you find this story interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next interesting content. What do you think about this robbery? Leave a comment below and share your opinion. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next videos.